I would like to welcome you, members of the International Consultation of Jewish Parliamentarians. It's really very important, this organization. And I will say why I think so. The main problem of the Jewish nation is the unity, is the conflict, the argumentation between us. And this form of Jewish parliamentarians from all over the world is the key to how to speak one and another. It is for us a model how we can achieve unity in the Jewish nation. And unity is solidarity and understanding. And that's why, although my schedule is very busy, I'm coming from a meeting at the Prime Minister's office. My next meeting is also important, but this form is very important for me. And I thank all my friends at the Israeli Parliament who are here, and especially you, the organizer, who is a close friend of mine and was also a client in my firm. Again, I disclose the conflict of interest issue. Shai Hermesh, for organizing this organization. If I may say so, Herzl dreamt about it, how Jews from all over the world will unite under one umbrella. And your organization is a unique and a very important example for this. Now, after my very long speech, which is one of my longest speeches in my career, I would be happy to hear questions. I do not promise that I know the answer, but I'll be happy to hear the questions. Just present yourself so that I can address you personally. Please. I'm used to cross-examination too. Don't be frightened.
I think we have a unique opportunity to put questions to the Minister of Justice, who does not come with a set speech, but invites your comments, and knowing the ministers I do, will welcome questions that may even have a critical dimension to them. So,
Erwin, I warn you, if I will not receive questions, I will speak, and that's very boring. Please.
Gary?
Introduce yourself so I'll know to...
I'm Gary Ackerman from New York.
From?
New York, big city.
I lived in New York a few times in my life.
To our great benefit. Let me ask you the following question, Mr. Minister. There seems to be some controversy about the term 67 lines, with whatever adjectives one places after or before it. If everybody spoke the same language and said we could get back to the peace talks, or get to the peace talks, using Israel's fence, which some think was built because that might be a defensible border, because they could put the fence anywhere they wanted to put the fence, with swaps, or in order to save face, put two suggestions on the table at the same time, to say that we get back to the table to talk about lines that would be somewhere utilizing the Israeli defense fence and the 67 lines with swaps. Would that meet Israel's security interests and the Palestinian interests in so much as they've accepted the term 67 lines with swaps? If we put both on the table, would that not make sense and serve the interest of justice for both peoples?
Okay. Thank you for the question, because it will enable me to explain what is very important. We did not initiate any war against the Arabs or the Palestinians. After the United Nations Declaration of Two States in 1947, we were faced with the first war against us to throw us into the Mediterranean, that there would be no Jewish state. We accepted the United Nations resolution, although we were not very happy with the borders at that time, but we accepted it. The war against the Jewish state was declared by the Palestinians and all the 7 Arab nations surrounding us. The same thing is true about all the other wars. They decided and declare until today they did want to throw us into the Mediterranean Sea and do not want to acknowledge that we return back to our homeland after almost 2,000 years that we were actually thrown away from our home country. 2, there was never before a Palestinian state in the history of the entire world. 3, we have evidence, the best evidence, and I would say, the most acceptable evidence by most people in the world, the Bible. Eretz Israel is designed to be a Jewish state. And if I will start with a very, very famous saying of Rashi, one of the most important Jewish scholars, when he starts Bereshit, the Bible starts Bereshit bara Elokim. God created first the earth and heaven. And it says there, why doesn't the Bible start with the fact that the Jewish nation was established when we left Egypt? It says because the Bible wants to tell the whole world that the earth was created in order to settle the Jewish nation in its homeland. And therefore, there is no question of 1948, 1947, 1967 borders, or the Yom Kippur War borders. First of all, it has to be understood and accepted that we are back into our homeland and that we are not here to be thrown away to the Mediterranean. Once our neighbors who started all wars to kill us will understand it and accept it, will sit down to the negotiation table and negotiate how the state of Israel can be a free and a democratic country with secured borders, with an understanding that there will be no more wars in this region. And therefore, it's not a question of 47 borders, 48 borders, 67 borders, or any other let's sit down and negotiate with understanding of the basic principle, a Jewish state and a security for its residents and no more wars. I hope I answered your question. It was a little bit too long, but you can cross-examine me.
Well, I don't choose to cross-examine the Minister of Justice, but you've certainly answered something. But I may not know a lot about the Bible, but I know that God does not have any vote at the United Nations, and the Palestinians have about 130.
I'm not a spokesman for God, at least, and not his Minister of Justice. I have what I see written. This is the evidence. And here I see...
You're citing the Bible as evidence?
But Bible is an evidence, sure. Bible is accepted by billions of people in the world, and it's the oldest document we have. Show me one more document which precedes the Bible.
But that's not really the point.
No, I didn't say it's the point, but
the point is, you have a practical problem that begs of a solution within an expiring period of time. We do not have eternity to figure out this problem. There are many clocks that are ticking, and many clocks have wires connected to TNT, and dynamite, and all kinds of explosives. I don't know which expires first.
You're absolutely right.
But
in order to negotiate, at least what I learned when I was a student, you need two parties. You cannot negotiate with yourself. Negotiation, by definition, is that you have two parties to sit down. Let's face it, they are not ready to sit down with us and negotiate because they know that they have to accept the basic principle that the Jewish state exists.
Well, the fact that the Jewish state exists is a fact.
But they don't accept it.
That the Palestinian state will exist is a matter of speculation to some, but some believe September is coming, and that may change the dynamic. And that if the reality is you're waiting for the Palestinians to accept your version of the Bible in order to prove that they're ready to negotiate, I think we have a bigger problem than I thought.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said, and made it very clear. I said very clear. The Bible is evidence. I put it as a document.
Exhibit A.
But I stress again, I need a party to negotiate with who understands and accepts that there is a Jewish state here. And afterwards, we negotiate the borders. I wanted to make it very clear, and I wanted you to understand it, that we don't have a problem with the Palestinians, what the borders will be. We have a problem that did not accept that we are here as a Jewish state. The border issue is the second issue. And let me again state, could you tell me when and where was a Palestinian state? And I can tell you where there was a Jewish state and what dates and when we stopped to be a Jewish state, because in the year 70 of the we were exiled from here when we stopped to be a Jewish state because our enemies, who were at that time not the Palestinians, decided to stop the Jewish state. Can I get other questions?